Hey Phil, I think I got one for you, man. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. I think our next episode need to be about personal growth, man. Talking about how we got to the stage that we are, what is important for us to grow while we keep trying to grow and become better people. All right, man. Holla at me.
Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place.
What up, listeners? Back again with another episode of Positive Philter. It's your boy, Philip Wilkerson, joined by my excellent co-host, Hillard and we're back again with another episode.
What up?
So, you know, we're grinding. We're both of us are living our lives, being dads, working, and we just thought for the listeners, we're going to do an episode particularly about mindset. And so, you know, being a counselor, me and Hillard, what's up?
Before we get into it, man, we gotta do the daily routine, man. I know some of the listeners want to know, man. Did I see a black person today?
So today, Hillard, how many black people did you see in Idaho?
Back up.
Today.
I did not. I did not. Not one.
Zero.
Not one today.
Not one. Not
Zero.
one, not two. Zero.
Hey,
and
you know what? I knew we were going to record today. And so I was looking, bro. I was looking for him, man. Hard.
Now, mind you, Hillard, you work in a school, right?
Yeah, so are we counting kids? Because there is one black kid. Because, look, I changed schools, so.
Did you see the kid? Did you see the kid?
I did see the kid. I see the kid almost every day. Me and him talk every day.
Now, then that kid will give you that one. That
Damn, the fact that we got to go to the kid in the school, man. That's it.
No, he is a kid of color. He counts. You saw him with your own eyes. He counts.
Okay.
So you'll always have one. Shout out to that.
I know.
Kid.
I thought we were talking about like. I thought this quota was always going off of like
the community.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have two counts. We'll have Hillard's consistent one, which is in the school, and zero in the community.
If that's the case, then I always see kids at school, man. Like even the last school I worked at, that was more diverse, and there were black kids there. So
that counts because as a man of color, you are a direct representation of seeing them and having an influence on them. So I mean, for them to see you as an adult role, probably the one adult in school. So if they count it, then you count it.
All right. So I guess my count's always been off. I'll change that, and we'll start going from there.
Well, your count's always been off. It's been from 0 to 2.
So, all right. Now let's proceed, man.
So, no, me and Hillard are counselors. And what I would say is that the only reason why that's important to note is that for us, we are, I would say, really in tune with ourselves about relationships with others, what we're doing. And me and Hillard are both on this journey of self-improvement, trying to be better individuals every day. I'm going to go put it out there, put it out in the universe. Hillard, someday, I know you want to get into motivational speaking and helping others. I'm, using this podcast as the avenue to motivate people. But for us to motivate other people, we need to also enhance ourselves, improve ourselves. And I think one of the most important concepts that I've come to discover is having this mentality of having a growth mindset.
Right.
Growth mindset rather than a stagnant mindset. And I guess the definition of that for the listener is constantly improving, being better, a better version of yourself every day, trying to achieve the best version of yourself, the best self. Obviously, you'll never reach perfection. You're never perfect. We're human beings. But
Right.
Doing something every day that will make you a better person. And so that's,
Right.
I guess that's what the topic of this episode is personal growth mindset. And I know you came up with this topic, which was
Right.
really good because obviously, I don't know, it really does touch base. So
Right.
what made you think about this topic about growth?
I mean, most recently, just being here in Idaho and just everything that I've gone through in the last 4 years. I've lived here 4 years now. That's crazy. But, moving out here, getting married, getting divorced, like being here now, having a child, and just the growth that I've had to go through and been forced to go through, whether I wanted to or not. Like it's just now I'm really starting to see it after this past summer. Like I was forced to grow. I didn't want to. Like I just wanted to be like, just move through life. Like I did not want to grow this summer. And like I was forced to because I was like by myself and there was changes that I had to make within my life and to readjust and coming out of, a situation and now moving into a different phase of life, I was just forced to grow. And like just seeing myself now on this part of it in such a short time, just being forced to seeing myself where I came from the beginning of summer to where I am now, it just really made me like say, man, like I really want to talk about this. Like I want to share this. I want to share, like I feel like I'm ready to kind of, share this part of my growth with somebody, hopefully, inspire another person. And so that's why it was just important to me. But I mean, we've gone through stages in life where we've had to grow, whether it's leaving home, going to college, the first time being on our own really and kind of really having some type of responsibility to then after graduating and then, finding a job and finding your way and kind of finding yourself within that, and growing into your own. And I don't even think I really started becoming an adult until I was 25. That's where I really started saying, I'm like, man, people don't really become adults until they're 25. I'm like, that's when you really start to come into your own. That's just my personal opinion on the thing. But, we go through stages where we just kind of grow. And as we grow, we change, we evolve. And the goal should be to become better people. And I've just really, started to just appreciate that more and more the older I get. So
Right.
that was my reason for the topic.
And I agree. I mean, I think your recent obstacles or hardships over the summer forces growth. And I think what I would say in reaction to that is usually most times in life we are very comfortable. We're at this even plane, right? And usually it'd be some form of obstacle or challenge that will joggle or shake up your normal baseline, and either you rise to the occasion or you defeat, right? Hard, you cave into it. And I totally agree that sometimes when people say like, why me? Why these bad things happen to me? I would say not in that moment. It's so hard to see in that moment that it sucks and things are not going your way. But then when you reflect on things in the past, and you treat it as a growth mindset, when you treat it with the growth mindset of a lesson or a learning opportunity, most times those things that you've really gone through, traumatic things or, let's say, just loss of relationships, and things like that.
Right.
When you, if it's the hindsight 2020 thing, you do learn, you grow from those opportunities. And
Right.
I would say not only, I agree that it's not always certain obstacles that force you to change, like not like it always has to be something bad, but also, like you said, in another small way, it can also just be change of environment, moving somewhere new,
Right.
adding a new member to your family, kids. That
Right.
I would say, for me, personally, I think one of the I think the two events that have kind of started this, positivity movement and really trying to be a better person, I would say is two main things: was introduction of life, my son, having Bennett, and then also the loss of life, losing my close friend Jocelyn. And I think two of those opportunities and the windows and the things I reflected when I look back and how I reflected on those two things, those were two things that I agree in your instance. I've grown a lot since those, and even as a 32-year-old man, I'm learning so much more. I feel like I'm so much to learn, and maybe when I look back when I'm 40 years old, there's so many lessons that I wish I knew at 32. But I think it's a great lesson for the viewers. Before we had this topic, I started diverging into growth mindset and reading articles and looking at videos. And one video and one quote that stood out to me was that Lou Holtz, the coach of Notre Dame and South Carolina, said, "If you're not growing, you're dying." And that was a powerful quote for me, because it was saying you're constantly evolving. If you're not actively seeking ways to be a better person each day, then you're not living life to the fullest. And it doesn't have to be super remarkable. Let's say it's a fitness goal, right? You don't think someone's I want to learn how to run a marathon, right? And the small goal each day was maybe just run 1 mile. Well, you did that 1 mile. It doesn't seem that remarkable, but then you do 2 miles, then 3 miles each day. But you consistently do something. Before you know it, you're running a full marathon. And I think with the growth mindset of treating each day as a learning lesson, because each day is going to be just, you chip away at something. And so going back to you, so I'm not talking all the time. What are some, what do you think is daily things that over the summer, when you started the summer to now, is chipping away at what, obviously being better in a better place at the beginning of the summer than now at the end of or beginning of the school year?
I would probably say the main thing that forced me, I guess, to grow in just that short period of time is my daughter. Maddie, she is my number one motivation. She is everything for me. And like you said, it's, circumstances, life change, life circumstances happen and they change you and they make you, they kind of force you to grow as you go. And Madison was that was it, and going through, the divorce and kind of, struggling with that, it hurt, and it forced me to get out of that. Madison forced me to get out of that pity party I was having for myself of saying, why me? Why is this happening to me? When I did play a role in that situation. Obviously it takes two, right? And so I played a role into that, and, I got to accept my part, and that's part of my personal growth is just accepting. I didn't want to accept the fact that, I was going through that situation. I didn't want to accept the fact that now I have to live in Idaho. I didn't want to, accept the fact that I was going to have to see my daughter at certain times. I was pissed. I was hurt. I was sad. All of those things. And I had to work through that. And one thing I knew I did not want to do, which some people and I can't judge him for it because I was close, was just start drinking and just partying and just doing all of that crazy stuff, man. Like, I was close to doing all of that. And just like, man, I don't even care. I'm going to just go and just wild out and do my own thing. And I really had to fight that urge to do that. You know, there were times when I did go out, you know, but like I really tried to keep it under control because of my motivation. And I knew like I just needed to grow and get myself good into a better place where I can just be there for my daughter and provide for her. And like, you know, you take care of myself so I can take care of another person.
Right.
And, you know, that was her, you know, like she forced me to grow a lot quicker than I probably would have if I didn't have her.
Right.
You know, and like that is the biggest reason for my growth. But then I also is acceptance, man, accepting my fault in the situation and recognizing my fault and the role that I played into, you know, kind of getting where it was at. And now, like, after I accept it, it's like, how do I start navigating? How do I start moving forward and building a life, especially in a place where I don't want to be, but I'm going to be here, but I got to figure out how now to navigate and build a life here because I'm here and I've accepted that now, you know? And so now it's like, let's move forward. Let's figure this out. And so that's part of that growth, you know, and that maturity. Because, man, there's days, you know, I called you, days, nights, I called you, and, you know, shout out to you, to, you know, the rest of the boys and, you know, my brothers, my folks, you know, to Maggie, you know, all of y'all, man, Armand, Omar, all of them, you know, just kind of just checking up on me, just making sure I was good and kind of just giving me encouraging words and just, you know, helping me get through it and getting to the point where I was at, like to where I'm at now, to where like I feel better about it. You know, I feel better moving forward that, you know, I got this. And that's a part of the growth, is just having people around you, surrounding yourself with those people, those individuals that you know that's going to support you no matter what. That's a great part of growth.
Yeah, because I think also, I mean, what I pulled away from growth and, you know, before this episode is I asked my friend Sam Dang, who's really big on personal development. You know, he reads a bunch of books and stuff like that. And I said, yo, I'm about to do this episode on growth. You know, what are some bullet points that you want me to say? And one of the main things he told me was surround yourself with like-minded people that want to grow. And you know, obviously you just said that when you were going through one of your most toughest times, you rely on your supports. And I think that's another thing about growth for me is that, you know, we all have this, you know, this thing of going forward and facing adversity. And there's times it's a combination of you have to maintain on yourself. You in Idaho, you have to be by yourself. You have to, you know, not, you know, drink or go out or, you know, those are times where you're going to be by yourself. But then at the same time, there's times where you're going to have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Now,
Right.
in regards to the surrounding of like-minded individuals, not necessarily is that surrounding of like-minded individuals always going to be face-to-face. And that's just the way of the world. But fortunately for us, technology and levels of communication, I feel like authentically, as much as it pained me to see you doing that by yourself, I felt like I could be there and be available, you know, via phone call or email or text. You know, I know obviously nothing is going to be as authentic as being face to face, but
Right.
I still feel like that's surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. I still feel like that's surrounding yourself with people who grow, because not to take away from your divorce and things like that, but you supported me in lots of times where I'm struggling with a lot of things of questioning myself, questioning my ability in being a dad, questioning doing this podcast in the first place. And you're not here physically, but your mind, your vibe is still authentic to me. And I still feel surrounded by you in regards to my supports. And, you know, I think for growth, right? Like if you really want to grow and we're going to say grow about 1,000 times this episode, but if you really are going through it, if you're really going through an adversity and you want to become a better person each day, you know, obviously I would say it's a combination that you need to have the internal fortitude to be able to do the day-to-day steps by yourself, right? Like no one's going to do it for you. But at the same time, even though no one's going to do it for you, it's easier to have that internal dialogue and fortitude if you have people encouraging you, right? Like when you're running that marathon, right? And I go back to the marathon. You run those marathons, right? You're running by yourself. No one's running for you, right? But did you ever notice that you run better during you do a marathon? Because like you PR on your times, you run a little bit faster because people are on the sideline cheering you on. People even know, strangers, you know. Like every time you do a big race, there's always those people handing you the water cups and things like that. And in addition to that, those people, you don't know those people, but you're surrounding yourself with positive people that are supporting your goals. And so if you have anything that you want to accomplish, so it could be twofold. If you have things that you want to accomplish, things that you're trying to aim for to be a better person, surround yourself with good people that help you grow. If you're going through a tough time where you don't think you can make it, surround yourself with good people or reach out to good people. And, you know, I think one of the things I commend you more on is that being a proud man that you are, I know that wasn't easy to ask for help for friends. And you know, for me, you're my brother, so it's not that. But like maybe someone like Maggie, my wife Maggie, or maybe some friends where the normal conversation you have with that friends necessarily never gets that deep. You know, you just talk about sports and just chop it up, you know, about sports and things. But you know, I think that it does take effort to ask for help. And I'm still learning that too. You know, I ask for surface level help, but I don't have very many people I ask for. I don't have very many people. I have surface level help people, but I do have a few people that I ask for things below the surface, like core support. I'm really hurting. I'm really struggling.
Hey, I mean, you know me, man. Like, I push people away. I tend to like just kind of, you know, I don't when I get probably like too agitated and stuff, like I just push people away and I kind of just cower in and I want to be by myself. Like I don't want to let like a bunch of people in anyway. And I just don't, you know, like I have my core people. And you tell me that all the time, man. Like man, go out, go meet people, man, get to know people, man. Like, you know, once you meet people, like they'll know that you're a good person. And I just like, man, I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. Like, I got my boys. I'm good with that. You know, I'll be all right. You know, I can contact y'all like by phone. We can talk in group chat and stuff like that. And that's just how I am. But there were times where I had to kind of let people in here that I probably didn't really want to. I felt kind of a little uncomfortable, a little uneasy about letting them in anyway. But I did because I recognized that I needed to at the time. You know, I probably didn't get as deep with them as I do with you, you know, or others like that. But, you know, I had to let them in and kind of work through that. And that was just part of the growth and just realizing. And I think a part of it for me as to why I'm so sheltered and I push people away so much is because, one, I don't trust. Like, I don't trust that easily. Like, I'm just not going to give you my trust that easy. And it's just the defense mechanism, a way to protect myself from being hurt. Like, I'm not going to allow you to hurt me. Therefore, if I open up to you, I'm opening up and I'm being vulnerable. And if I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable and, you know, you hurt me, like that, like, I don't want that. I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to deal with that. You know, and sometimes those type of situations can stunt that growth from happening. And, you know, it just might be like, all right, you need to just work on that. I'm not saying you got to fully, like, just go out and start trusting strangers. No, don't do that. Don't play yourself like that. But,
don't play.
you know, sometimes there might be situations where you just got to kind of take that step so that you can just grow just that much more, you know, within that, and just become that much more of that person that you're kind of seeking to become. You know, because we all have a vision of what we would like to accomplish in life or where we would like to be, and you know, and that's us dreaming. But why can't the dream become reality? It really can, but it's up to us to kind of make that step.
And I think one of the things I took away from that too is that I'm more of a trusting nature. I trust a lot of people, and I go in it with, you know, the mindset that people have good intentions until they prove me wrong. And some people have the opposite. Everyone has bad intentions until they prove you right. No, till they prove you wrong too. So both of them prove me wrong. So like, I go in it with, and I joke with, I say this is usually how, you know, females are, but this is just me in general. I go with everyone is cool until they prove that they're not cool, that they're jerks. And girls go in with everyone is whack until they prove that they're cool. You know what I'm saying? But for me, my trusting nature, I don't think, because I will get hurt. It's going to happen. I'm going to get played. You know, it's going to happen. But I don't want the world to make me jaded. Like, I'd rather just keep on thinking that there's good in lots of people and just keep on getting like random sprinklings of people that play me, that eventually me cut myself off to others. And you know, that's where I think me and you are different. You know, like, I'll be more willing to open up to people or be cool with people until they prove me wrong. And it is painful and it does hurt my feelings. And I'm definitely a feeler. I definitely get in my feelings, but I'd rather just, for me, I'm still not going to change. I rather trust in that. I don't know, that's just how I am. It's just keep on. And I think maybe you're more guarded than I am. But the end result is that regardless of you being more guarded than me, you know, and obviously we both get hurt, I think the common solution for both of us, whether you're more guarded or I'm less guarded and we get hurt, I think the reaction is that we still grow as people. We take it as a lesson. I still try not to generalize that all people are bad or whack or distrustful. And I just move on, and I think I've gradually taken your lesson too, where I've gotten to the point where I'm just going to be like, okay, I think we kind of like, not said meet in the middle, but our philosophies kind of met in the middle, where now I'm becoming more like, I'm encouraging you to be more open, and when things don't go that well, you're still, you know, you move on and you just kind of, you're done with people. And I may give people more chances than you do, but I've gotten to the point myself where I've learned the lesson of not extending myself to people that have previously proven that they're not, you know, nice to me. So in regards to your mindset, I still give people more chances, but I'm learning more and more to be like, okay, distant. Okay, that person has thoroughly shown me who they are. I'm going to be less and less thirsty or desperate for the friendships. I'm going to take, you know, a little bit, give them space. I'm learning how to not personalize it as much. Like, okay, it's not necessarily me, that they have a problem with. Maybe they just, you know, I've gotten better. I've actually really gotten better in regards to my reaction, that less personalization. It's not always about you. Give people space, give people distance. And you were good at giving people distance. I'm getting better at like, okay, it's cool, without feeling bad about it.
I'm laughing because I'm probably too good at that. You're like, I really will like just be done with somebody. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why we probably meet in the middle. Like, I don't go all the way to yours where I'm done with them. But my compromise in me getting better at it, my compromise is that I've gotten better at saying, okay, while I may not be done with that person, I'm going to give that person space. And whether that space means I don't talk to them for like 6 months or so, and they pop up in my life randomly, and when they do pop up in my life randomly 6 months, a year later, I'm not petty about like, oh, now you have time for me. I'm just like, okay, naturally this is what it is. And I've gotten better at that, And
you know what?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect though. I'm still salty a little bit sometimes, but better at it.
And you know what? Like this ties into this what Sam was saying. It is just surround yourself with like-minded people. Like we have the same mind. Like we both want to grow. Not only just as individuals, but we have like goals and dreams that we want to reach. They're not the same. They're not the exact same thing, but we have, we want to strive for that greatness, and so like we feed off of each other, and it's working on that balance to get there. I'm working on it. I'm trying. Like I really am. I think I'm doing it more now than I've done in the past, to where I'm trying to give people opportunities, and just not try to just be so like, yo, you do me wrong once, yo, we done. Like I'm trying to kind of take that from you because I see there's importance in that, and it's kind of the same way. Like I don't.
Yeah. And my thing on
somebody that I feel like I care about, I don't want them to just, I do them wrong one time and then boom, they just cut me off. Like I wouldn't appreciate that. And so I'm trying to like work on that myself. And so it's finding that balance. So I'm feeding off you, just like you feeding off me, but it's surrounding yourself with that like-mindedness of, those individuals. And it just goes back to what Sam was talking about, which is, talking about that personal growth, which is a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I think the funny part is that we will meet in the middle. Like, you used to be like, they hurt me once, I cut them off. My job would be like, I gave them like 20 different chances, and I'm still around. So I'm feeling like I'm getting better at like, okay, now they've given me like 5 opportunities to realize who they are. And you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, I might not cut this person off at one time, but if this person has done it like 5 times, then I'm going to have to realize that this relationship is not good. And with the surrounding yourself with like-minded people, I mean, another quote, I don't know all these self-help books, but another quote that I heard is that you're the average of 5 people around you. Now, in this case, like I said, you're the average of your 5 peers, whether that peers is via social media or whatever, or text or whatever. But I do feel like I'm the average of my 5, tight-knit friends, and I got I got way more than 5 tight friends, but like I said, let me just, in regards to like black males, I got my MP2 group, and I got Marcus, and I got MP2, and I got these strong black males around me, right? And the average of those 5, when I look at the average of them, good fathers, that's like a actual checkbox for all of them. Like really, particularly all my friends that are black males that are fathers are good fathers. And, I'm giving credit for that. Got jobs, they're employed, mostly college educated, and are not in prison. I mean, I know these are really, really, Philip, that's your standard, but I'm just saying moral character, upstanding fathers, morals, things like that. I see that I'm the average of that. Like, I'm surrounding myself with that. I have examples of that. So, like, in my picture in my window of what I'm doing in my life, I feel like the 5 people, not saying just 5, but the average of that is bringing me up. Now, what I kind of want to strive to next is that, and me and you are doing, is that we want to go to the next level professionally, right? So maybe that means we might need to reach out to people that are above us, that are doing, like when we say the growth mindset, reaching out to people that are doing things that we want to do, so that when we surround ourselves with them, we try to become the average of them, so that we eventually, the people that we look up to, the people that we consider mentors, we become their peers, and then we're the average of them, and we look around at the people that we ask for advice, and before you know it, we're the average of them. And so, I guess in addition to the growth mindset is that this sounds kind of not nice to say or not so positive filter, but, there's going to be times where you're moving forward and, unfortunately you're going to be moving forward or moving up and people are not moving with you. Fortunately for me and this podcast is that I have goals like this and you want to do motivational speaking. So we're going up together. We're at least going up together in that journey. We're being fathers in that journey. But there's going to be times where even within our own boys, we're doing stuff that our friends might think are silly,
Right.
Like, oh, you're doing a podcast or you're doing a motivational speaking, kind of lame or that's corny or it doesn't really sound that good. But the thing is, we still, when I look at people with growth mindset, that's when I went back to sometimes it's going to be group, sometimes you're going to have supports, and sometimes you're going to have to do stuff solo. It's a combination.
Right. And and I agree with that. I just don't I don't see none of our friends saying, not being supportive.
Oh no. I mean, honestly, when we shared our goals, when you shared your goal of trying to learn about getting into speaking, and when I shared my podcast goal, it's gotten really good reception. Thus showing that the people that we chose to surround ourselves are good peers. But, there's going to be times where not always supporting 100%,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying now. I mean, we're getting it now, though. I'm blessed that we are getting it now. We are getting the support we need now.
Right. And so, it was crazy. I was talking to a student, and the student, she's on the autism spectrum, really autistic, but man, she's such a funny kid, and I really enjoy having conversations with her, and I try to just check in with her, and kind of the counselor last year was kind of telling me the history of her and how she is, and she doesn't do that well with males for some reason. Her and I just kind of hit it off, and we're doing great, right? And so she was having a really bad day one day, and she comes in, and she was just struggling, and I was just talking to her. And at the end of our conversation, before I got her to go back to class, she was like, "Have you ever thought about being a motivational speaker?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You should really do that." And I've mentioned it to you before, and kind of mentioned it, to our boys and stuff like that. And man, that's something I would want to do to kind of really impact students. And it's just why am I waiting? What am I waiting on? It's this is something I really want to do, something I'm passionate about. I need to stop being scared and stop being lazy and take that step and start to move forward in that process. And and it's just that part of that personal growth. We've talked before, about you starting this podcast, and what were the barriers, and and the things that were hindering you from doing it. And one thing hey, eventually I'm gonna have to start it because Sam put it out there.
Yeah.
So now that you put it out there, now that you put it out there, I got to start it. Which
Sam,
I'm not
Sam
mad about. It's the push that I need. Because
Sam Nang did that, and I'm doing that for you now. And,
right.
And what I think one of the things that was helpful for me, which I think I'll give another shout out for what Sam Nang was. But one of the things was I was scared to look stupid. I was scared I don't know what I'm doing. And I think one of the best things I did was just he said, "Yo, I know one of my homeboys. His name is Dean Picari. He said, yo, he does a podcast. If he's a stranger, you already know who he is, but he's one of my friends. He said he'll talk to you." And that could have been another opportunity where it's man, this dude don't know me. This is awkward. I said, okay, I'll call him, and I just did it. I was just yo, he knows how to do it. I'll just ask him a bunch of questions. I'll write my questions down. And I think that's another part about that, surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals, is that not necessarily do you need to know how to do. When you want to grow and be a better person, it's not the assumption that you know how to do it by yourself.
Right.
since day one. And I think one of the best times, for me, one of the best, I think we all need to know our learning styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for growing to grow, you need to learn your learning style. Like for me, I'm not the best reader. I don't like reading that much. I can read. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say I can't read. So one of my learning styles is listening, and either listening and listening to podcasts myself. That's why I wanted to do a podcast, because I used to listen to them myself, or
Right.
talking to people, interviewing people. And so for me, for growth, I think one of my best learning styles is listening, audio. And that's how I got better, is by listening and listening to how things do and how you do it, and listening. And I think maybe for yours is find out like, if you want to if you're good at reading, on the flip side, you're good at reading, read books written by motivational speakers, and they give you ideas. Or if you're like me, an audio person, listen to motivational speakers in addition to reaching out and talking, having conversations with them, because then you'll know your learning styles and it helps you. Because I'm not really, that, like, I need to talk to people. I think for me, I learn a lot. I think people are really good resources for me. I learn a lot from other people. Other people.
Right. And I totally agree. And man, I'm not like the biggest fan of reading. Like I read when I have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I will read and I don't mind it, but it's just like I definitely prefer like the audio and listening to people and kind of reaching out and kind of, interacting in that way. Even for somebody like, that's weird, right? Somebody that like pushes people away, but still like when it's time to learn and things like that, like I want to interact. I want that face to face type of interaction and things like that.
Right.
And so I definitely agree. Like that's the way, it needs to be. But I do want to ask this question though, like that, was one of the questions that I had when, I thought about like this podcast. Like, why is it important to keep growing? Like, why is that important?
I think it's because I guess you'll answer too, but for me, I think the pursuit of being a better person every day, purpose, or doing, just having a highlight of every day, it's a more optimistic view of the world, and it could be as bleak as this, like I read a book, I think it's called Night by Esau, I can't remember his name. Dang, I don't know, but it was about a guy that was in Auschwitz, right? And for him, hope and growth was what kept him alive, right? He's like, literally, if I can make it to noon, in this Nazi camp, if I can make it to noon and get something to eat, I'll make it to noon. And then after he made it to noon, if I can make it to night. And he lived every single day with like what's in front of him, right? That like making it to this, making it to that, making it to that. And it could be like, it was the most bleak situation. Like people were dying around him. And for me, I wish I got this. I'm so bad at like names that's going to bother me until later. But the point is for me is that we have a whole lifetime, right? And, I want to look back and say, the 21-year-old Philip, I'm a lot better than that. And maybe I don't physically look better. I don't know. I got a gut, I got a six pack, what I'm saying? But I'm saying like maybe holistically, maybe I need to like have a physical goal too. Like I hope that the 35-year-old Philip looks better than the 32-year-old Philip. The point is, I want to look back and say, okay, regardless in some aspect, maybe it not necessarily has to be physical, but it could be mental, self-esteem, career, something. I want to be better now than I was at 21. I want to be better at 40 than I was at 32. I want to be better at 60. I want to look back in my life and see that in my life each day I was on an upward trajectory, right? I didn't decline. Now, my body may decline. Like when I'm 80 years old, my body may just be, I may be in a wheelchair or something at 85 years old, whatever. But when I look back on my whole life and all the things that I did, each day I treated it as an opportunity to do something better. So for me, obviously, you don't have to jam-pack all your goals into one day and accomplish everything you need to do. But, like, did I do one thing? Like, okay, so this podcast, for example, we recorded this podcast today. That was one thing today that made a difference. That's one thing toward the growth of myself doing this podcast and maybe the growth of someone else. And maybe tomorrow, you know, when I do admissions for VCU, I admit one student into VCU, just one.
Right.
And I admit a student. That was one more student than not that's in school that I impacted one life that I didn't do before. And, you know, obviously I'm telling myself this because, you know, sometimes I don't have the biggest, passion about admissions.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm just hitting yes or no. But if I really break it down, if I talk about one day better than the next, at least in that one aspect, I made one difference in someone else's life. I got someone in the school that they really cared about. And so I think the importance of the growth mindset and why you need to have that is it gives you, it lets you know your life is a race. It lets you know that you're always moving forward.
Right.
You know, was it always forward, always? Shout out to Luke Cage.
Right.
but it means that every day you can do big or small steps. It's forward. Big or small steps, you move forward. You're not moving back and you're not standing still. Honestly, most people don't slip back unless it's really, really bad things in their life. But a lot of people in this world are just stuck still. And if you get in that mindset that you just go through every day like, I'm not doing anything I want to do, I'm stuck, then it sucks. But if you have the growth mindset that every day you did something moving forward, whether it was big or small, whether it was just, you know, like I said, just, you know, making sure that the house was clean or something, I don't know. Whatever gets you, that you felt like you did something moving forward each day, I'd rather approach life, you know, like that way. I'd rather approach that. And it's not like that. You know, I don't want to live every day like it's my last. I don't want to die today. I don't want to live every day like my last. But I want to live every day like I'm moving forward and toward when it is my last day that I was better off in my last day than when I was born. You know, I ended my life moving forward. I ended my life going up rather than going back down. I ended my life not still. I ended my life not stuck. And you know, I don't want to feel stuck. Yeah, I feel stuck some days, but I got to get back to like, well, you're not stuck. You know, you did move forward. So, I mean, that was along the right way, but that's why that growth mindset, that forward mindset is important to me.
All right.
So why is it important to you?
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, man. I think you kind of hit it when you said like purpose. That's the biggest thing that like stands out to me. Like, why is it important to keep growing? Like, you know, for purpose. Like, what's your purpose? Like, what's the motivation? You know, for me, I got into the helping profession, you know, because I want to help. I want to help kids. I want to help, you know, our youth, you know, the younger generation. I want to inspire, you know. I want to not only help, but just inspire them and motivate them and kind of like do what others did for me. Because, you know, I could have easily went the other way, you know. I could have been, you know, another black male, you know, in jail. Like, the system is not set up, you know, for us to be successful. And so I could have easily fell on the other side of it. I mean, why didn't I fall on the other side of it? Because the individuals that was there to help me and to help me to grow and become a better me in every phase of my life to get me to that point, you know? And so it's at this stage where I'm at now, being 32 years old, the reason like it's so important for me to keep growing is because like I want to leave something for my daughter. Like, again, it comes back to her. Like, she is my main motivation. She is my main reason to keep growing. Like, that little girl, you know, like, she changed everything for me. She changed my whole perspective on life. Like, it was just amazing. And I know you know the feeling, you know? I mean, you got Bennett now, and you got another one on the way. So, like, you know, it's just crazy. It's like the shift from, you know, being just looking out for yourself, you know, and then you go to the phase where you're married, and then when then you bring somebody in as well, and you got to teach them and kind of help them to grow. And, you know, I think it's just really important that you keep growing so that you can teach them how to grow and how to grow in a better way and do it better than you did it.
Right.
And so, like, that purpose, man, like, it just comes back to that purpose. That's why I feel like it's so important to kind of keep growing. Like, what kind of mark do you want to leave on it when you die? What do you want your legacy to be? And it doesn't have to be a famous legacy, you know, where everyone knows your name and things like that, but just the people that are important to you, the people in your life. Like, what do you want them? How do you want them to remember you? And how can you just keep continuing to just develop and becoming the best you? Never going to be perfect, but we can always become a better us than we were the day before. You know, we wake up, we get a new day. That's a new opportunity. And that's reason enough to keep growing and to keep moving forward, like you said.
Right.
You know? So that's my kind of spiel, long-winded answer on why it's like important to keep growing.
I agree. So, I mean, for the listeners out there, I hope this episode inspired you. You know, this is one of our, when we say, when Positive Filter, a podcast about health, career, something along the way. I found my own tagline.
How you going for it, man? You created.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm tired, man. It's late. The friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help along the way. The point is, hopefully that you took this podcast and it joggled you. Like, I want you, me and Hillard, I definitely know you feel the same way. We want you to be able to listen to this and say, you know what, that podcast helped me. I definitely am going to do something. I know there's so many people that I've interacted with that have such, goals and dreams and things they want to do, ventures. And you don't know how many people have BS excuses why they don't get started. Like, literally the BS. Like, I'm going to be honest. I know people have told me that the podcast can have better audio. And I'm going to flat out discuss that right now. And if I waited, and I said, there was times where I was like, if I waited I had to buy this, then I was never going to start. I was like, let me just do this on my phone. And I'm telling the listeners, some behind the scenes things. But the point is, like, don't make excuses. Figure it out. Try something. Get better. You'll figure it out.
That's it. Yeah.
Figure it out. Like, there's so many different things. If you wanted to do a podcast and don't have all the crazy equipment, figure out a way to record. If you want to get in the gym and work out, you do not need to buy the most expensive Fitbit and lift, gym membership and all that stuff. Get some sneakers and run. Like, literally, there's so many things that you could just do to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think, it's just take that step. It's like, don't be afraid to fail. Like, I think a lot of times, like, that's the biggest barrier that gets in our way is ourselves, and it's just the fear of failing. Like, we just we worry about that so much because we don't want to look bad or, so what, man? Like, we hear it all the time. We hear it all the time about successful people, how they fail. Michael Jordan, got cut. I mean, so it happens all the time, but it's like, how does that, like, why should that stop you? Like, it's just like, that's just a lesson in your journey to just take and say, all right, let me apply what I learned from this situation. I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna do it better. You know, now you got a cheat code. So then insert that cheat code and then move forward, and then jump that barrier, and then move on to the next one. And if you stumble and fall, get up, learn a lesson, and do it over again. You know, and I think that's what it is. It's just that fear of taking that step, man. And it's just fear of falling and failing. But so what if you fail? Like, who cares? You tried. Too many people out here, they don't want to try. They're not willing to try. You know, so like Phil said, man, it's just hope that this like inspires you. You know, my growth that I've just seen in just that short period of time, it's inspired me, and I told Phil like this is something that I really wanted to talk about and share. But not only did that inspire me, but just like my boys, they constantly inspire me. You know, they constantly push me because of the things that they want to do, and they share with me and saying, man, these are the things I want to do and stuff like that. And it's just us inspiring each other and pushing each other and growing with each other, and sometimes growing without each other, you know, and which is all good, you know, and it's all in that positivity and moving forward. So that's my little ramble. I always go on these like little rambles at the end.
You do. You definitely do. You're the most rambling dude I know. Like,
I know, man.
My ADD kicked off, and I was like,
I always go on these rambles. I don't know. Maybe that's a question we should answer, man. Somebody posed that question like, do you think Hillard rambled at the end, or did he need to just shut up? Either way, I'll shut up. Like, I don't know. But
no, whatever.
Anyway,
it is what it is. But we're gonna wrap this up. But I want to thank all the listeners so far. You know, one of the things I did read, and I need to wrap up. There's not a ramble with that. Most times podcasts don't make it past. If you make it past 6 episodes or something like that, or 6 months, I believe. I think it's 6 months, and you're still doing it, it's more likely you're going to keep up with it. So what I would say is that this podcast is going to be around for a lot because I feel like we're getting support from the listeners. People are tuning in. People I didn't even know were listening text or message me, and that's just super encouraging. So I want to thank all the listeners. I really want to thank the people that reach out to me. You know, some shout outs, Alicia Ryder, aka Alicia Fef. She hit me up and I don't know, I didn't think she was listening. And when I get people like that I don't think are listening, that motivates me more because, you know, I know my people that I'm sending these episodes to. I know they don't listen. I'm trying to, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm trolling my friends. Like, listen to my podcast. But the people that come out of the woodworks that say they listen to me give me fuel. It makes me feel really good.
Right.
It makes me feel like we're doing something. We got impact. So, you know, thank you so much for everyone that's listening. Thank you so much for the messaging, the feedback. We definitely want to interact. We definitely want to interact with the listeners. If you have a topic you really want to hit me and Hillard up, man. Tell us, like, hey, I want to hear y'all talk about this, and we'll talk about it. You know, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. It might not be the very next episode. I'm thinking we're gonna do another Q&A episode. If you have a question, hit us up. We'll answer your question. But this podcast is a movement. This podcast is a movement by the listeners. At the end of the day, I want this podcast to be a resource to make you a better person at the end of the day, to help you grow. So thank you so much. Thank you, Hillard, as always, for coming in and reporting live from Idaho. We're the only black person. And
nah, man, like I'm gonna constantly have at least one. So every time we do an episode, I'm gonna have one, at least one that I saw. I'm gonna see that young man every day. Unless he asks. So.
Yeah, so, hey, you need to tell, you go, before we finish this podcast, tell them that you report back and say, hey, man, you're messing up my quota by you skipping school, so you better be in school because I'm relying on you.
I'm gonna have to let them know, man. I'm gonna have to let them know. So, for sure,
Thank you so much. All right, brother. Yeah, that's good in the hood. We're doing it.
You have been listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career, with a little self-help along the way. Positive Philter was edited by Ronald Young Jr., host of Time Well Spent podcast and creator of Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Special thanks to Hillard and I. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends. Spreading positivity is a movement. Thanks for listening.